So today we want to talk about something that's really rather easy to do once you get the hang of it. And that is to just follow what feels like forward momentum, no matter what it appears to be. What we mean by this is that there's constant movement happening in your experience. Things are constantly evolving, things are constantly becoming more of themselves, things are constantly transforming, which looks like they're casting off an old self and entering into a new self, like a caterpillar emerges into a chrysalis and then emerges as a butterfly. But in fact, the idea of whatever is behind the caterpillar is evolving through different stages into the butterfly, which then will evolve into something else. Everything is happening this way. So if you go outside, for example, and you just look at the clouds and you see them blowing across the sky or becoming larger or discharging some rain or some electricity, you're going to see forward momentum happening. If you are walking across the floor, you will see forward momentum happening. If you are breathing in and out, you will be observing forward momentum happening. It really is happening everywhere. It's in every single thing that you have created, because all of your creations are created essentially in your image. You're not a carbon copy. You're not populated with people who look like you, because the image is not of your body. The image is of your essence. And so you have a thought, and at the essence of the thought is the essence of you, unconditional love. Unconditional love evolving in form. Unconditional love becoming more of itself. So you're quite literally surrounded by thoughts that feel better. Because that is what forward momentum is. It's something that feels better. It's expansive. It opens. It evolves. Now, you may think from time to time that what you're dealing with, at least in terms of thoughts and sometimes in terms of form, are things that are moving forward and you don't like that they're moving forward. And so you would say that it feels worse for them to move forward. So, for example, if you have a friend who has decided to move to another place far away from you, you may say, well, that friend is evolving, but I don't like it. But the thing is that the part that doesn't feel better is not the moving, it's your resistance to the moving. Allowing someone or something, like a caterpillar or a friend, to become more of what it is a gift that you give yourself, not the other person, not the caterpillar. It is a gift that has its own effect. In other words, it's beneficial to everyone involved, but it is primarily beneficial to you. When you drop the resistance that you have to something becoming more of what it is, including yourself, you are giving yourself a tremendous gift, a gift where you get to bring yourself back into alignment with yourself, which is a very powerful thing to be doing. So our suggestion is that you follow what feels like forward momentum, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. If you're temporarily blinded by your resistance to something, if you temporarily cannot quite figure out who you are or where you are in relationship to what you are seeing, look for something else. Look for the caterpillar that's crawling across the pavement. Look for the butterfly that is in flight. Look for the clouds in the sky. Look for the rain falling from the clouds. Look for even, the mosquitoes that are flying about looking for something to eat. Maybe you want to watch them from inside your house with the doors closed, because you may not want to be that which they eat. But the thing is that even they, in their own wonderful way, represent forward motion, forward momentum, forward movement. Even they are going forward. When you're petting a cat, for example, you're holding a bundle of forward movement, of forward momentum, because the cat, as long as it wants to be petted, is going to be enjoying what it is that you're offering. And if you'll notice that that is what is happening, if you'll notice that when you are playing with the dog, or walking with the dog, or running with the dog, or just simply in the same room as the dog, that you've got a bundle of delight that is by your side, that is in fact very much in forward momentum. And if you have forgotten what feels better, you can find it in all of these places. It literally is everywhere. It's in everything. But we want to remind you that just walking across the floor is an example of forward momentum. Just breathing in and out is an example of forward momentum. All of the carbon dioxide in your body is escaping as you breathe out, and all of the oxygen that your body is ready to take in is coming in as you breathe in. These are wonderful things. You may think they're not much of anything until you don't participate in the process, and then you will understand very well how delicious it is to breathe in and breathe out. Your ability to see, your ability to hear, your ability to taste, your ability to touch, to sense, the ways in which you interact with your physical reality that are both sensory and so-called extrasensory, all of these things are examples of forward momentum. Because you see, you think you're in one place observing things as you're sitting in your chair. But don't forget that your chair sits upon the floor, which sits upon the ground, which is a part of the earth which is spinning very fast. So fast that your ability to perceive it is long gone because you can't really get the contrast of it being slower. And then the earth itself, while it's spinning, is also in motion around the sun, and the sun itself is in motion around the galaxy. You're moving really fast. And yet you forget these things, which is fine. Your perception of the relative position of your body is perfect. We're just giving you examples of what you can tap into. There's forward momentum. There are thoughts that are actually feeling better. In other words, thoughts that are in expansion. Thoughts like a caterpillar, thoughts like a cat, thoughts like a dog, thoughts like your feet, thoughts like the very chair upon which you sit. Give your attention to these things, and you are giving your attention to what it feels like to move forward. And you will combine with them. You will become vibrationally what they are offering you. Not limited to what they offer, but expanding from where they start into what you make of that offering into something that is even much more delicious than just a purring cat, than just a butterfly on wing. There's so many things happening. If you stand outside and you notice the wind is blowing, you're standing in the middle. You are literally, your body is being caressed by forward momentum. What you perceive as the wind is just a series of thoughts that are moving around on their own purpose, having very little to do with you, but very specifically there to help you remember. When the sun is setting, when the sun is rising, when the moon is full, these are all examples of forward momentum, because at least the earth is turning on its axis. At the very least, that is happening. And so if you notice the passing of time, that is an example of forward momentum. But as we said before, you're not limited by what the example means to you at the beginning. What you're doing here is you're taking the example and you're using it to go forward for yourself. Something wonderful is always happening here. There's no delay. There's no lack. There's only the delightful joy of what it is that you are experiencing as a result of noticing these things and being here today. Something astonishing is at play. And you're in the middle of it. It's amazing like that. Something amazing is happening here, and you are in the having of it. There's no doubt of that. Something delicious and something wonderful. This may be the single most important thing that we have ever said to you in this conversation. Because in this conversation, essentially the answer to your question, how do I find the thought that feels better, is now just simply open your eyes and look around. Everything is helping you. Literally everything is conspiring with you. You have set up this reality, this evolving reality, that is demonstrating forward movement all over the place. Now, of course, there are going to be things in this reality that you don't like. There's going to be stuff that's happening that isn't that helpful, at least from your current moment perspective. In other words, there are going to be things that you're offering resistance to, and that's fine. It's fine. That's how you're developing your preferences for what it is that you want and what it is that you don't want. That's perfectly fine. But anytime you get wrapped up in these things and you begin to feel progressively worse and worse, and you know what that means, that's not anything we have to explain to anyone here. Anytime you get wrapped up in these things, one of the things that we would suggest that you notice is that you're always, and we do mean this quite literally as we say it, you are always in the right place at the right time in the right way right here, right now. Something wonderful is happening. Something amazing is happening. And we would highly recommend that you give yourself this gift. That you give yourself the gift of the delight and the joy of having this amazing experience that is all around you. And that you just give your attention to any bit of forward momentum, of moving forward, of forward motion, of going forward that you can find. Because in that motion, in that movement, is the expansion of thought. The butterfly on wing that takes to the air and flies through the air, as it is beating its wings, as they are moving, this is an example of momentum, of forward motion. This is an example of the evolution of thought. This is an example of a thought that literally feels better. Feels better to the butterfly. And you can tap into that. You can see it. You can even just imagine it. And if you will notice, there is a bit of an expansion within you. It may not be the most expansive thought you've ever thunk, but it will certainly be one that is easy to get to, delicious and amazing in and of itself. So we invite you to bring your attention to anything and everything that feels like forward momentum to you, to give yourself that gift and to know how amazing and how wonderful, how delicious and delightful it actually is. This is a wonderful place that you are in. You are surrounded by countless thoughts that are evolving all around you. Remember that everything that you perceive is your creation. This is something that you have given birth to in your own way. And it is meaningful to you very specifically, but not personally. And this meaningfulness, the meaningfulness of the experience, the meaningfulness of what it is that you perceive, all of this is happening for you in astonishingly delicious and powerful ways. So we invite you to give yourself this gift and to notice how good it is, how wonderful it is, and to let it happen for you.